Welcome, Rewind Rental Podcast, Episode 7. Me, Seb, join Evan Callum. Today, Whiplash. J.K. Simmons, Miles Teller, Damien Chazelle, jazz music. You're listening. Now, bit of a lackluster intro this week,
That's the shittest intro ever.
I feel as if since the film heavily dictates on tempo, I thought I'd fuck up the tempo. So,
just a splice J.K. Simmons.
Yes. So this was Callum's pick this week. So, does anyone have a synopsis, or do you want me to do it?
I guess you can handle it.
I can handle it. Sure, okay. So Miles Teller plays Andrew Neiman, a 20-something musician student who wants to be one of the greats, a very good drummer. So whilst studying late one night, Andrew is heard by a composer named Terence Fletcher, who is the teacher of one of the higher up music groups. I can't remember what it's called. The Somehow Symphony
Studio
or
band
company. The studio band. Yeah, studio band. I'm not a music person. So that sparks a war between these two entities, the mentor and the mentee, always trying to best themselves. Terence Fletcher's teaching methods are often seen as barbaric and unethical. However, he doesn't care.
It's not that he doesn't care, it's that he's trying to push people to achieve what they're capable of achieving.
Yes, but that sparks the question whether that's morally right. But anyway, before we get into deep discussion, let's just talk about general. How we all think of the movie.
I love this movie. I love it. I love it so much.
I've seen it so many fucking times. I'm so sick. It's not a. I don't hate it. It's not a bad movie. It's quite a good movie. I'm just so sick of watching it. I had to cover it in high school, in year 11 or 12 media. I can't remember which, but we had to rewatch it so many times that I got sick of it. I got really sick of it. Because normally,
media.
Yeah, like from what I can hear, everyone else got better movies, but you know.
See, I didn't do media, so
Well, for us,
there you go.
For our school, for the films I remember in media, we did John Hughes films. So we did The Breakfast Club in year 10. Year 11, we did Pan's Labyrinth. And there was another one, but I think it might have just been Pan's Labyrinth. And then in year 12, we compared Get Out to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
They're all
John
awesome
Kramer
choices.
Yeah, the John Kramer 57 rom-com with Sidney Poitier and I can't remember a few other stars of that generation. Personally, I wasn't too fond of that film. I thought it was so poorly paced because it was just like one continuous scene. But that's not what we're discussing. I have the same feeling of this. I have the same feeling towards like Rear Window because that's what we did in year 12 English. So I've seen that film so many times. I don't want to watch it ever again. Not that it's bad, but I can't. I could probably recite it.
Yeah, you're burnt out on it. You've had it too much. There's only certain films that I can rewatch that many times, and this isn't one of them. Even though I've been forced to watch it that many times.
I think this is pretty rewatchable. At least just for me, I could probably rewatch this quite often.
I mean, it is, but the way my tastes dictate the kind of movies I like to watch and the movies I like to rewatch, this wouldn't.
Well, I think you and I definitely have different tastes in movies.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And all three of us have different tastes.
Definitely, and this is just sort of my kind of movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's taste in this matter. I think it's just because having to watch it and write about it and dissect it for school it just burns out anyone's opinions.
Yeah, I did some films in English class, and we did Winter's Bone, which is supposed to be a really good movie, but we watched it so much that it would. Yeah, I know how you feel. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's just you've seen it so many times. You watch the scenes over and over. You have to memorize all the quotes, and by the end, you just want it out of your head. So you pack it away into that special part of your brain.
Well, I think schools are very good at ruining good things.
You're not wrong about that.
No.
High school, anyway.
That's
That's a debate.
that's a whole nother discussion. Anyway, so Evan, you didn't have to watch it this week. Like I didn't watch Black Klansman last week because
Last week?
you'd know. Yeah, it was is that the episode? No, we did Vigilante last week. Black Klansman the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd seen Black Klansman so many times that I didn't need to watch it again. But so you've seen this movie tons of times, Callum. How many times have you seen this movie? Do you reckon?
Twice.
Twice. Okay, so I assume that's once in cinema and once with the Blu-ray viewing that you recently bought.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this was my first viewing. I didn't mind it. It was okay. It went fast.
Didn't you try watching it with your dad once?
I did. Yeah. Tried watching it on TV, and I was just like, he's not wrong. He does say fuck a lot.
Mine refuses to watch it because I showed him the trailer and he's like, "This is not a good movie. This is a bad influence."
Why? Because there's a lot of curse words.
No, because it's apparently bullying.
It's going to influence you to become J.K. Simmons.
I want to become J.K. Simmons. He's so cool. I love that guy.
I mean, the character is probably a terrible influence, in my opinion, in the fact that he broke a student down mentally, that the student ended up committing suicide. I think it was just
well that's
a terrible.
That's pretty grim.
I thought it was terrible, just how his teaching methods. I thought they were completely unethical. Like I understand there's wanting good, but then there's also you have to nurture. I understood what he was going for. And how Chazelle wrote him being this asshole who cares, who's passionate about his music. But there's the balance in that because he saw what he was doing and he thought it was good, but he never nurtured his students.
You could say that his performance
He's
was
still-
Oscar worthy because he won an Oscar for it.
Ah, yes, you could, and you did. Good on you. I didn't know that actually. This was 2014. This was fucking like 6 years ago now.
It won 3 Oscars,
quite a while.
which is kind of wacky.
How many?
3.
Oh, 3.
It won
Thought you said
It feels
12.
like...
J.K. Simmons Best Editing and Best Sound Mixing.
Well, best sound mixing, yeah, I think because it's a music movie, you kind of have to.
And
that
the
comes hand
editing
in
is
Yeah.
fantastic. And in fact,
I agree on the editing.
all 3 of those things are fantastic.
hand. Yes, I agree.
But what else came out that year that was competing against for the Oscar? I don't remember.
Didn't Birdman come out?
2014. Callum, why don't you
I
look that up actually while you're
I'm
while
like,
we're on this topic.
what's it? The Jamie of the Joe Rogan.
Like Jamie? Yes. Oh, you did. You've done it a few episodes, so I think it's just might as well.
I think Birdman was 2014 as well.
I'll look up 2014
From
Oscar
memory.
nominees.
In that case, I take it back, and I think Birdman should have won editing, but
I think Birdman was
clearly not.
2015 actually.
Was it? I don't quite remember exactly.
No, Birdman is 2014. There you go.
Oh,
Did it win anything?
it should have. I'd be surprised if it didn't.
It won 4 Oscars.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was surprised to hear the story behind it because I'll beat you both to trivia this time.
Oh yeah.
This film actually started out as a short film.
It did.
Before.
In fact,
starring both of them.
In fact, the shots where he's practicing, a lot of those shots are reused from the short film and just color graded differently.
Oh, very nice.
It's pretty
Well,
cool.
you know, that probably saved a good few weeks.
Oh, it's just little things like remember the shot where the band, I think one of the guys blows on the in the trumpet and then opens the valve and all the spit comes out.
I hated
That was that. I think that was in the original.
I don't think that was the most uncomfortable shot of the film. I think the most uncomfortable shot was the blisters on his hands.
Oh yeah. I didn't find that uncomfortable. I thought it was just a bit painful.
I've gotten pretty bad blisters in the past. I can relate to the pain of that.
Yeah, no, I know what those blisters feel like, and that's why I was like, no, I'm not a fan of that.
Ugh.
Evan sounds like someone's having a bit of allergies.
It does.
Background there. Yes. Anyway, watching this movie, because I watched this like most of the movies we've seen. I watched it over a Discord call, and
You were getting pretty irritated.
Oh, because no one would shut the fuck up.
No, I remember you dropping it out and going, "We get it. He's fucking good at playing the drums."
No, that was towards the end, because like I understood the meaning of the scene, the whole story behind it. But like, okay, he's good at the drums. And end it now. And then it quietens down. I was watching.
It starts up again.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so he's winding down. They've gotten the respect of one another, and then it's gonna cut to black. Nope, keeps going, and I'm just like, oh.
It's poignant. He's building back up, and then you finally see the recognition in his eyes that he's found the one, that he's like the next Bobby Rich.
I like that it went on for that long.
Yeah, I think that
because he just gets bullied all movie, and it's his big victory moment. You know, I think it's good that it gets dragged on as much as it does.
Well, it's the equivalent of like at the end of like an action movie where there's like the final fight. It's kind of like the equivalent of that.
Yeah. Now you bring up an interesting point about finally getting his approval at the end, because that was one of the things they brought up when we watched it in high school. Is like the interpretation of the ending. Because my teacher was like, does that look really mean he got his approval, or could it mean could it mean something else? And I don't know. I disagree that it does.
Do you
but
don't think
I suppose it's an interesting point.
Do you think it
anyway,
means that he got his approval?
I don't know. I don't think it's his approval. I think it's more so the respect.
I think both. But yeah, no. My teacher was implying that it might have another meaning, but I don't think it does. No.
I think it's that he's finally realized that it's paid off, because all throughout the movie he's like been like trying to bully Andrew into achieving what he's capable of, because he sees the potential in Andrew, and finally Andrew achieves what he's capable of, and he's like, "Wow, you did it."
Yeah.
And I guess to an extension, he's like, "I did it."
Yeah. No, you can definitely see it in Simmons' performances. I'm sorry, what is that?
That's my mouse drinking his water. I'm noting down the time so I can cut it out.
Because
I'm not having a good time, alright, with the background noise this episode.
No, it's fine. I just
there's a cockatoo outside yelling.
I heard it. And I'm just like, okay, no, it's gonna fucking break me.
It's alright. Continue. I'm running the times down. It's alright.
It's fine. I'll just like maybe in the game. Hopefully, it doesn't pick it up.
Oh no, it's picked it up.
Yeah, it's picking it up. I can see it a little bit. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever. That's the pain of filming at home, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
Yeah.
I think it definitely grounds the production.
It makes us more relatable as people.
Oh, it makes us more relatable. It kind of makes us underground, but you know, whatever. It's what can you do?
I still do. I think in 2018 I downloaded this trailer onto my phone, and whenever I needed some motivation, I'd watch the trailer.
For Whiplash.
Yeah. So all throughout high school, all throughout year 12, I'd be like, I need some motivation, so I'd watch it on my phone and be like, okay.
There you go.
Interesting choice for that.
I've still got it. I still watch it sometimes when I'm like, I need a bit of motivation. Watch a bit of Whiplash trailer.
Fair enough.
Before our exams, they told us to stand in a power stance and you'd gain energy. So, different school systems, different ideologies.
Different strokes for different folks, as they say.
What do you think of the iconic...
Well, the connotations behind that phrase, I think, is a bit... I don't think it fits for this.
It's fine. It's fine.
We're not going to have another wanking episode.
No, we're not.
We're not doing that
What did you
bit
think
again.
of the iconic "Not My Tempo" scene?
think everyone's seen it at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not the
'cause
question
it's
though.
entertaining.
Yeah, it's fine. Good. It's well written.
It's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. It's entertaining. It's definitely like, in my opinion, definitely the start, or more so the revelation of Fletcher's character, because before that he had basically fucking corners him and pries into his personal life.
I thought that was so
then-
clever how that was done.
Well, definitely, it just makes it more. It just makes his intentions seem more cruel.
Because he's like,
Because he
oh,
seems
are
like he
you the only
cares.
musician? Oh yeah. Your dad's a teacher. Like, oh, your mum left. That's so sad to hear. This is why your mum fucking left. Your dad is a failure. I thought that was really
Yeah,
good.
it's just I thought, yeah, it was definitely. That was definitely the turning point, or more so, the revelation, as I said, of J.K. Simmons' character.
J.K. Simmons also talks a
Mm.
lot about he talks a lot about people's dicks. Did you notice? He's like, all right, you bunch of limp dicks.
He does a bit. He throws around some slurs that you can't really say nowadays as well.
He's
It's basically every J.K. Simmons uses the vocabulary of every Call of Duty lobby in
Oh,
in
yeah.
2013.
Basically, yeah. Who knows what Terrence Fletcher does in his spare time? Maybe he gets on Call of Duty lobbies and neeks
Maybe
people.
maybe a Dota 2, maybe a CS:GO.
I think my
perhaps Rust.
favorite zinger. I'm gonna call them zingers. My favorite zinger that he did was
JK Zingers.
JK's. I like that. My favorite JK zinger
Zingers.
is when he's they're about to do that performance in the same one where the folder disappears, and he's like talking to them,
Mm.
and then this tiny guy like walks up, and JK Simmons doesn't even turn around and goes, "Get the fuck out of my face before I demolish you."
I love
The
that one.
timing is just so good.
Yeah, that one gets me. That one still gets me,
Before I just
even on repeat
demolish you.
viewings.
Like it's so different to
I thought the
all of the other
follow-up
ones
to
you
that-
said.
I thought the follow up to that was funny. He's like, I can still see you,
Yeah.
Mimi," and then he just runs off. That was probably my favorite.
Or
moment.
when he's
Actually,
or when
no.
he's making fun of that.
My
that other
favorite
guy.
moment was probably not with Fletcher, more so when Andrew's at the at his family's house.
Oh, that was actually painful to watch that scene.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I thought it was.
It was funny, but then when
I think it was
but then
more-
when his dad is just like, "Oh, have you gotten a call from from like Lincoln Center?" And then I'm like, "Really, dickhead? What a dickhead!"
Yeah.
I think his dad was trying to pull him down a peg because he was really he was going in a bit.
I think Andrew should
like
he
a-
should have
it's
gone
like a-
harder. He should have ripped those guys a new one.
No, because everyone was against him.
Yeah, because they were with some like college football playing dickheads,
True.
and Andrew's like, "Oh, I'm a musician." I don't know. I'd probably respect a musician more than a football player if it was at my dinner table.
I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that. But that's just me.
Don't really care what you do at my dinner table. I don't really give a shit.
Fair enough.
Couldn't give a fuck less, honestly.
I think
Like, I'll,
if I had,
I'll ask you questions, but I don't care.
fair point.
You were saying?
I
Evan?
think, yeah, no, I think if I hadn't watched this film too many times to the point where I was sick of it, I'd love it a lot more. Because it's basically just the first half of Full Metal Jacket, but in a music studio instead of, at a army boot camp,
it was all kind of. A lot of the chunk was in that one room.
The studio band room. I like
yeah,
that.
so it was definitely.
I like that a lot.
That was interesting to hear.
But-
a funny detail I noticed was he told him to be there at 6 a.m. and then everyone comes in at 9.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Andrew
Yeah.
just decided to sit there for 3 hours.
I mean, good on him. Fair play.
Yeah, it
That's
showed-
pretty good. It's like it's
Yeah.
pretty good dedication to start off
And it's
with.
also it demonstrates just J.K. Simmons' mind games.
Hmm.
That was definitely like the first. Like you'd think it's like hazing, like it's just a
Yeah.
bit of a fun joke for the new recruit, but no, that was like the warm up to the breaking down
the
mentally.
barrage of
Yeah.
insults.
I found it kind of like, I know he's the villain and you're meant to hate him, but I found it kind of stupid when he saw that this kid came in bleeding.
Oh, after the car
Like, he
accident.
just covered in blood, had a bit of glass on his head, and he just thinks, oh, no, this is normal. And then he just decides to yell at him more. Like, clearly the man is off his hinges.
Like when he's trying to play and drops the drumsticks because he's injured after crashing
his
a car,
hands just
and he
fucked.
just goes, Neiman, what the fuck are you doing? Like, come on,
Yeah,
man,
he just
give him
yells
a
at him.
break.
And then he decides to spear tackle him, which, in my opinion, J.K. Fletcher was asking for.
It was kind of
because
cathartic to watch.
It was, yeah.
I think it's because Andrew is just such a quiet character. To see him have this outburst of anger, you're just surprised, but you're also kind of wishing that he'd say something this whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when he was hitting him with the "I'm upset" line.
That was
Like
I
you just
love that
expected
bit.
Andrew just to walk out.
I'm upset.
Oh, that became a big meme in my class that year because we analysed that scene especially. We heard that line more than we saw the film probably.
Was everyone just going around going, I'm upset?
Yeah, whenever anything went slightly wrong, we just go, I'm upset.
Teachers pick the weirdest scenes to analyse, don't they?
They do. Obviously,
Like
the
for
finale
Rear
as well.
Window.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But, like, the other scenes.
that means a lot more in terms of the story.
Yeah.
But for English, for Rear Window, we had to analyze. I think I remember when Grace Kelly and the nurse go and dig under the flowers. Like we just for some reason the teacher's just like, what is the meaning behind this scene? And I'm like, oh mate, they're looking for bones. I don't know. Like that was my reaction. Like I'm upset. Yes, I don't like this. They're like, what's this mean? I'm like, I don't know. Hitchcock was a batty bastard.
See, for me, in my last year of English in Year 12, it was so disorganized. I don't think we ever finished any film in that class. We started The Crucible to go off the book, and we never finished it. We got like halfway through it one
Oh, I
class,
don't
and then we
think
never
I
came back
we
to
did,
it.
finished the
we did the
Crucible book.
Crucible and Year of Wonders in Year 12.
Yeah, we did that too. And Frankenstein as well.
You don't like Year of
Yeah, I
Wonders?
hated it as well.
I hated Year of Wonders with a passion.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
We did Frankenstein, which I was like, awesome. I'm in my element, Frankenstein. Nah, fucking hate that book. I fucking hate
It's
it.
pretty.
I hate it more than Heart of Darkness. It's written...
written pretty.
Ugh. Oh, I just hate it. I can't stand books that are written like that. That and Heart of Darkness. I Ugh.
What were you expecting? Frankenstein to rip people's heads off?
No, the story's fine. The story's good. I like the story. It's just the way Mary Shelley writes. It's like 20 pages of describing one thing, and it's just irritating. I like detail, but like it's too much. It's too much. I don't like it.
I raise you the stage notes in The Crucible when they talked about the exposition that went on for 3
That's
pages.
true.
And the teacher's like, you should read this. And I'm like, that's not where the juicy stuff is. The juicy stuff's in it's in the lines.
I didn't mind The Crucible. It didn't break me
I
mentally.
prefer the Crucible.
See,
to
and
Year of
also
Wonders.
Yeah,
I
same.
hate Year of Wonders. I hate it with a burning passion. All it was this woman's horny and she's going to go around and fuck everyone in the village. and then everyone's just going to reap what they sow because of it. Because Anna couldn't keep it in her pants.
And then there's metaphors like, look at the apples, they're rotting on the ground.
Then there was that whole dinner party scene where that one mum stabs her daughter in the stomach or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Or like the corpse's head fucking falls off. I didn't read the book.
I read about half of it,
I
and then I
hated
just
it.
was like, this just isn't enjoyable to read.
I didn't read any books. Actually, the only book I read in year 11 or 12, I gave up at that point, was Frankenstein, and I regretted that.
The better
I
books,
didn't read
in my
it.
opinion, were years 10 and 11. Because year 10 or 11, I think we did To Kill a Mockingbird.
In year
We didn't even do
year
that.
10, I think, or either year 10 or 11, we did Macbeth, and I'm a massive
Oh, we did
I'm
that
a
too,
massive
yeah.
Macbeth fan. So like that was so much fun to write. I'm pretty sure I got like straight A's on all of my Macbeth assignments. And then after that it all went downhill.
It was all downhill from year 10.
Oh, it might have been year 11.
No, I enjoyed. I think it was year 10 for Macbeth. We did that then as well.
I think
I remember we did the year 11. We did The Things They Carried, which was a book about Vietnam, which is quite good.
Going back in Nam.
Yeah,
Did you just have
but like,
Fortunate Son playing the whole time?
no, actually, it was. What was it? It was For Whom the Bell Tolls that the teacher kept playing
Oh, what?
because she was a big fan of Metallica.
Fair enough.
was
While
like,
in
alright.
class.
Yes. You know the weird shit they do in high school. They're like, inspiration for your assignment or whatever.
Our teachers never played music in class. They were
She
like,
was
you
the
can have
teacher
your
who did.
earphones, but our teachers were like, if we can hear the music coming out of your earphones, you get them taken off you.
Oh, we had
And
a
I'm just like,
we had
sure.
a I don't know, systems teacher, because you know how, like in year 7 you have to do year 7 and 8 you have to do all of the subjects. So we had to
Yeah.
do some
Yeah.
of the like systems and metalworking and all that. And one of the teachers was like, if I ever see you with headphones, I'll just go and snip the headphone cord. And there was a kid with like Beats on, and he just walks past and just goes
Oh.
snip,
Oh no.
and the kid's just like, what did you do? And he's like, told you not to listen to music in your class.
What beats were they?
I can't remember, but they had a cord on them.
The thing is, if they're, I think one of them are there's the LPs. I think that's
They were
They're,
fairly bulky.
if were they over the
Yeah,
ear
yeah.
headphones? Okay, those things are like fucking. Oh, they were probably like Beats Pros.
Yeah,
or
I had a
something.
feeling they were like that.
Oh no, those are like
I know.
350
They're
bucks.
so expensive, and he just nonchalantly goes snip, like with just some pliers.
I mean, I can see where he's coming from, because idiot year 7s are like working with copper wire and soldering
Yeah.
irons, so they're definitely almost gonna burn themselves.
Mm.
Like I cut my hand with copper wire accidentally, but that's because of things like a razor.
I had I had one.
essentially. Yeah.
I was in. If you want to talk about stupid accidents, I heard. Did you ever do lino printing?
Oh
I
yes.
was doing lino
I didn't do
printing,
that.
and there's like the tool for lino printing is like a little knife, and it's got like a V on it, so it can scoop out the lino when you cut it.
It's like that green rubber
Yeah,
shit. Evan.
yeah.
Have you not? It's like
I know,
thick
but
green-
I never worked with. I
Oh, you
never
never
did
did
that.
it.
And
okay.
I
I know what it is, but I
and
never did
I
it.
was cutting something with lino printing, and the technique is you put your hand behind it and you cut like away from your body. And I had my hand holding above
Oh
it,
no.
and I'm just like just kind of like slicing it up, and then my hand slips and the blade just goes straight into my finger. And I had to like pull it out, and I'm just like bleeding all over the desk. And
The same thing happened when I was coring an apple once. It went straight in my fucking
Oh.
finger. I wanted to
is
die.
that the worst fruit-related accident you've had? Because my
Yes.
worst fruit-related accident was holding half an avocado with a seed in it, and I got like a massive knife, and I just got the knife and just went whook, like launched it straight into the seed, and it like pinged off the side of the seed and just embedded itself straight into my thumb. And I did.
Were you holding on to the
Yeah,
avocado?
I was just holding onto the avocado and it just went. Thunk. I'll show you the scar sometime. It's still on my thumb. I had to get a stitch to seal it.
You idiot.
Well done. I don't think I've had any fruit-related incidents, so
I've never had any food injuries in class. A kid set baking paper on fire once, and the teacher had just started smacking it with a pan.
I think I was saying start smacking the kid.
No, the fire, not the child. No. Teachers never put their hands on children. At our school, at least.
Oh god.
Hey,
But yeah, to bring it back to things we did in school.
I thought you were gonna say bring it back
Related
to
subjects, I
Whiplash, and
mean.
I'm like, no. But then you went to
No,
injuries
'cause
at
I-
school.
I
Let's
was
not go back to. Let's not go
No,
back to the topic of the episode.
no, I like this conversation.
I need to bring this up because I need to vent to somebody because I've held on to this since year 10 or 11 whenever I did it.
Oh boy. Here we go. Alright, go on.
So it was English literature one of the extra subjects. I did that for like a year and a half.
I think that was one of the subjects. I showed up for the first class, and I instantly
You're
went
like,
to the
"Nah."
teacher. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, move me out of this subject, please.
Yeah, no, I wish I
hate
did
it here.
that.
I wanna
Anyway,
go home. Yeah, go on.
for one of whichever year I did, I can't remember. For that class, you had to pick, like from a set, like library, a set like selection of books, and then do a presentation on them. And I was like, yeah, and
did they
like
have to correlate?
no. It was just like just a random selection you could choose from them. Everyone had to do a different one, and I was like, all right, well,
Okay.
I think the teacher's a big comic book fan. Someone did The Dark Knight Returns. That was cool.
Oh hell yeah!
Someone else did Watchmen. I was like, oh, nice. But the choices when I got to picking, my choice was down to, I think it was either an Edgar Allan Poe story or Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, and I'm like, all right, big fan of Apocalypse Now. In my phase of being a snobby kind of film kid, and then I'm like, I'm gonna watch all the Oscar films from this year.
Wait, can I just have a question?
Yes,
Is this why you don't like Heart of Darkness? Is this the story why?
I'll get there. Don't you worry.
Okay. Go on.
So I picked it. I bought the book from the library. I was like, all right, I love Apocalypse Now. I still do. I'm like, this will be a good choice. I can have a lot of material comparing it to the movie because I've seen the movie enough times. It'd be good to have an excuse to read it. I opened the first page, and I'm like, I regret my decision immensely.
Why?
Because the first, 20 pages is Joseph Conrad describing the sunrise over the Thames, and I'm just like, "Ugh."
Dear Lord.
And I hated it. I got halfway through and I gave up. I read a slightly more detailed summary online for the rest of it and based my presentation off that because I could not bring myself to continue that book.
And how'd that assignment go?
Pretty well, actually.
Sparknotes really.
The
really
teacher
did
was
get you
quite.
through high school.
Yeah, no, that teacher was kind of scary, and I feel like he knew that I didn't read it, and he was grilling me with certain questions, but I got through it. It was fine. But no, I as a result, I hated it, and I hated Frankenstein equally. Just both were written in the same way, and I don't mind old styles of writing. I read H.P. Lovecraft and I adore it. I read Poe. I have no problem with Shakespeare, as you said, Callum. I love Macbeth more than I thought I would. But just I don't know. The way Joseph Conrad and Mary Shelley write just makes me want to die inside, and I can't
It's
get
kind of
through
the
it.
same with Stephen King.
You should read Silence of the Lambs, Evan.
As in, I should read it because I'll hate it, or I should read it because I'll like it.
You should read it because you'll
Same
hate
with It. You should read it because you'll hate it.
I've read it.
Because isn't the first two
I don't-
chapters of It just describing the street where the kid gets taken or eaten or something?
I don't quite recall, but I don't know. I feel like with Mary Shelley and Joseph Conrad, when they do that, it's wasting time, and it feels really pretentious. I know it's fucking 1800s when they're writing it, so take that with a grain of salt, take that as you will. But I don't know. With Stephen King, it feels I'll put it this way: when I read Stephen King and he does that, I feel like he's given the detail that I like to visualize the scene that he's describing. With Mary Shelley and Conrad, it just feels like fluff. I don't get a good visualization of the scene from the 20 pages of bullshit.
I think it's because you know where it's going with Stephen King. You have that expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps might be that. I don't know. Perhaps.
So
I enjoy Stephen King.
So
more
Heart
than
of
that, anyway.
Darkness was that the base for Apocalypse Now?
Yeah, it's the same story basically, except it's set in Africa with mercenaries and shit like that.
Instead of Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam was entirely for the film.
So Apocalypse Now was that Coppola or was that Kubrick? Which one was?
That was Coppola, yeah.
Okay, so because I think we were discussing Apocalypse Now and Heart of Darkness before, and the amount of horror that Coppola went through
Yeah.
when he was on set. And that
It's a bit
reminded me
fucked.
of
What
like
happened?
Marlon Brando's in
What
Apocalypse
happened?
Now. Yes.
What kind of horror happened on
Yeah,
set?
yes.
Oh dear lord. So
They shot for like a couple of years, didn't they? I can't remember how long they shot
yeah,
for.
a quote from Coppola was, "We had too much money, there were too many people there, and we just didn't know what to do with it, so we went nuts." He
Literally and
apparently-
figuratively.
he heard Martin Sheen was having a heart attack, and he'd crawled up the street, so that broke Coppola, and it made him have a seizure.
What?
Like he apparently he like disassociated himself and thought he entered another dimension, because he was just having such a shit time and wanted to leave.
I'm pretty sure a typhoon destroyed the sets they built like 3 times.
I mean, fair on him though. Like, you have to respect that he powered
It's still.
through it.
I mean, it turned
'cause
out to
I
be a
don't-
great movie. So
Yeah, and Marlon Brando did his usual Marlon Brando behavior.
also the sound. I think the
Every
soundtrack
time-
of that film is kind of underappreciated.
Oh, the soundtrack's phenomenal. I love it. I love that film to death. I adore it.
Every time I hear Marlon Brando, I always think of that one guy in that video store in the city. Fucking hates Marlon Brando. To
You-
explain
you
this
brought-
story.
Didn't you bring him up last
Let me
week?
to explain this story. No,
I don't recall. I don't think we
I
did.
I don't think we explained it, but
I
to
think it's because we tell the
preface it-
story to the podcast. It's pretty funny.
No, I think this is the first time we've actually told the story. We just talked about. I think we just brought it
I
up.
mean, next
briefly
time we
last
go there,
time.
we can't say that we have a podcast.
Good. You'll have to remember that, because you tell people.
We can't go
to
around tell. You go around telling everybody we have a podcast.
Yeah, because everyone else who has a podcast
Anyway,
tells
story
everyone
goes.
they have a podcast. It's what you do.
Yeah, no, it's fucking pretentious. Anyway, story goes. So we're in this little corner store, this little alley shop in the city that sells all these like thousands of fucking movies. I don't want to say where it is, just in case, just for
Yeah.
safety reasons. But
Fair enough.
they sell like thousands upon thousands of different shit. Criterions, Grindhouse.
Oh, do
that's
they have-
why-
do they
so
have
Evan was
Criterions there?
stuck on that wall.
They
Yeah,
do,
they
yeah.
do.
They import shit from overseas, basically. The Blu-rays we don't
That's
normally
where I
get
bought.
here.
Yeah, that's where I bought my copy of The Room. I paid $30
I
for
didn't
a
even realize
DVD.
I didn't even
which
realize
was-
they had Criterions though.
They did. It's in the classic section. They had
Ah.
the Dazed and Confused one. I remember, with
Hmm.
the slipcover and shit. Anyway, so we're all there, and we're about to leave, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the movie guy, because the guy who does music, he was asking. We were just talking. I said, "Do you have any of the '88 fighting films, like Enter the 36 Chambers and all that?" And he said, "Oh, wait for the lunch guy. Wait for the movie guy to come back." I'm like, okay. So I wait. Evan's fucking picking out not Criterion's, Grindhouse films, just looking around.
And I'm
Yeah.
going.
I can spend hours in there.
Evan, buy
Taking
this.
Sweet
Evan,
Mary
buy
time.
this.
Yeah, you were egging me on. Seb wanted to leave, and you were egging me on, and I was like, oh,
Evan's
fuck.
like,
Callum,
my
no,
wallet
Callum,
can't
oh.
handle this, please. And I'm like, do it, Evan, buy it,
Yeah,
buy
like-
it, Evan.
Callum's just
Every-
wandering.
I love going to those stores, but I have a mental breakdown every time I go in because I can't
Anyway, back to the
take
story.
everything. Yes, go
So
on.
the movie guy comes, and Evan's ringing up his stuff, and we bring up Marlon Brando, and this guy, the clerk there, the clerk, just gives us all this deathly look, and he talks about how much he hates Marlon Brando, and he's talking about just like, oh, Marlon Brando on Apocalypse Now, mate, that was what call him an actor, mate, he's not that's a bullshit, he's not a fucking actor. He's like, Marlon Brando's this, Marlon Brando's that, and it was so intense. It's like if you interrupted him or tried to say anything good about Marlon Brando, he'd pierce you with his eyes.
Then he talks about the island.
We just want.
And he
Yeah, talked about the island, Dr.
and he
Moreau.
talked,
Yeah, the Island,
think.
Dr. Moreau. We talked about Godfather. We talked about.
I mean the island that Marlon Brando
We talked
owned.
about Superman.
And he was just like, he's like,
Oh,
did you
that
hear
one.
about the fucking island that
Yes.
he owned? Ah, disgusting.
Oh yeah, and then there was a brief period for 30 seconds where no one said anything. So
I don't know what to
just went-
say. I was like, I saw the paper
It was
movies
so
and go.
awkward.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right, well, thanks for that, man. We'll be off. And then I just had to pull everyone out because. it was
I
fucking-
remember we walked out, so we just looked at each other and we're like,
We all had a good chuckle though. It's pretty funny.
It was
pretty
a good
funny.
laugh.
that was a fun day. And then fucking COVID happened.
It's been 20 minutes since we talked about Whiplash.
It's fine. It's fine. We talk about what I want. This is our podcast.
I mean, I could mention the budget. Is this like enough time in to mention the budget?
I think so. It was about 3.5
3.5
million.
mil,
I saw
and
on
its
Google.
gross was 48 mil.
Really?
They did pretty well with it.
Yeah,
I think.
Jason Blum really made
Like
his
I know
money
that's.
back.
I know that. Usually does. I know it's like. I know 3.5 million is low for for like that kind of film. That's not a big number in terms of movie budgets. But like the movie feels lower budget than that to me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the lighting.
That's
or
because it's a Blumhouse though as well.
Yeah, but like other Blumhouse productions don't feel that way. Like Get Out doesn't feel that way. Halloween doesn't feel that way.
Was the new Halloween a Blumhouse?
It was indeed. Yeah,
Pretty sure it was.
That's how
I
I
was
first
too.
learned about Blumhouse.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no,
I
I don't know.
think so,
It just feels like it still feels like a student film. Like I know it's based off a short. It just feels like a really expanded, obviously, not
I
as
see what
rough
you
around the
mean.
edges.
I don't know. I thought it felt pretty premium.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the color grading. Maybe think of that. I don't know.
Some of those shots were really yellow,
I like that.
Yeah.
like almost orange. But I thought it was a good setting because I think that's definitely like when it went to yellow, I automatically just assumed that J.K. Simmons was gonna have another fucking outburst because that was usually when he did.
You know what? I'm remembering now. I'm getting back all the memories of when I watched it for the first time. You know that guy in Sin City, the yellow guy that Bruce Willis punches his head into mush
played by oh no, that's a different guy. My bad.
with the
Yeah,
big ears.
yeah.
Whenever there's yellow lighting on J.K. Simmons' face, that's what he reminds me of. Because I know you said this before, Seb, but he does. Credit to the guy. He's a great actor. I love him. But he does look. He looks like a ball sack in this movie. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
It has to be said.
It's because he's always looking down, and like the way a face moves with the skin, it just pushes everything up,
But
and his
Yeah.
his cheeks
but
and
have
his
you
jaw
seen?
just get all
But
wrinkly.
would you fight him? Did you see his arms? They are disturbingly large.
No. Yeah, no, I
That's
didn't.
because you just wore. That's because you just wore.
No,
really
but have you
tight
seen that
t-shirts.
photo of him in the gym when he was training to be Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah,
No.
but I don't think he's done that now.
He's.
I don't know
he's
why he did all
terrifying.
that training for Commissioner Gordon, considering he was only in the movie.
Well,
for
we'll
a
have to
few
wait till we
minutes.
see the Schneider cut.
You don't see it. Oh fucking! I don't even want to watch it at this point. 'Cause I'm so sick of hearing about it.
I'm debating whether I'll watch
I think
it.
I'll watch it.
I'm not even that. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Zack Snyder's gonna fix the movie," and I'm like, "He's not even that good of a filmmaker to begin with."
Zach said
What
the
about
same
what
thing,
about
didn't he?
Sucker Punch?
I hated Sucker Punch.
That movie was fucking weird. I never wanted to see it when it was.
I've got it on. I've got it on Blu-ray.
I thought it just looked a bit like smut.
I mean, it
Like,
kind of
that
kind of is.
that
I don't
wouldn't
know, just
usually
the way
deter
the-
me from a
just the way-
movie.
Just
but
the way the
like,
characters that I know it wouldn't, but just the way I'm sorry, but just the way the characters were presented and the whole aesthetic, I was kind of put off.
I mean, it does
wasn't
does
that.
kind of sexualize women in kind of a not okay way. Where
I mean, it has a point to it, but I don't know. I just dislike it. It's just
I like the action scenes. The action scenes are.
I don't
very
know.
cool.
Look, if the action scenes were the focus and the action scenes weren't representations, you've nailed it for me now. I don't know why I dislike it. I have a problem with movies that have that have, no, that have like action scenes or a monster where they're not actually happening. They're just a representation or symbolism for something. I don't mind symbolism. If you have an action scene and then it also symbolizes something, that's fine, whatever. But when your monster or your action sequence or whatever, it doesn't actually happen and it's just a representation for something else, that just irks me. I dislike it. I dislike the Babadook for the same reason. It's just, I don't know.
You know,
I've
like
never
the
seen the
Babadook?
Babadook. Is it
It's
one of
alright.
is it one of those
I
things
just
that we
saw it.
shouldn't talk to you about because you'll just go like, let me tell you about the fucking Babadook.
No, I don't hate it that much. I just, in general, that's one of the things that's my one of my main two pet peeves in movies.
Personifications
I don't know.
as a monster, sort of thing.
Not necessarily monster, but you know what I mean, like, right? When something is symbolizing something else, except it doesn't actually happen. I don't mind symbolism when the thing that's the symbol is actually happening in the movie, but when it's only there as a symbol and it's like, wow, crazy action sequence, but it never happened, I'm just like, oh, just fuck off.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Speaking of Zack Snyder films, he also directed the Guardians of Gahul, that fucking owl movie, which I remember seeing in theaters, and I never wanted to watch it again because Jesus, it was so boring, just terrible. I hated it. I remember my aunt bought me the book, and I read about 2 chapters of it, and I don't want to touch this. It's bad. No. Bad.
I don't even hate him that much as a filmmaker. He's just not as good as everyone makes him out to be. As much as he bastardizes some parts of Dawn of the Dead in his film, for the most part, it's a good movie. But like, I don't know. Just in general, with his other stuff, I'm not a fan.
He's Man of Steel.
I really like his brother. Man of Steel was okay. It was it needed its contrast to be turned down.
I don't know. I like the colors in it, and
there was no colors.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
In my opinion, I thought there were no colors.
That's his style, though.
It's a comic book movie.
Yeah, they're called comic books. Not who directed Batman and Robin? What was his name? Joel Schumacher said they're called comic books, not storybooks or something like that.
Yeah, he's not wrong but it's the comparison between Man of Steel and Watchmen, because Watchmen had this very bright color palette like Dr. Manhattan, the Silk Spectre's outfit, the bright yellow, the bright blue. It's just even Night Owl's brown leather, that all popped out even though it was dark. But in Man of Steel, like Superman's iconic blue and red, it was just washed away by the white of all the concrete in the city
doesn't work
scenes.
for me.
And then you look at the color of a film like
superhero movies.
And
then
you
you
look at the color of a film like Whiplash, and it's mwah,
it's yellow.
Oh,
I don't think there was many colors. Whenever Andrew was getting on the bus, that was probably the most colorful scene. Because it had all the green.
Here's a question for you though: who took the folder?
It was never answered.
That's why I'm asking you.
I like to think it was J.K. Simmons just fucking with him.
That's what I thought. I was like, okay, so he clearly took the folder.
I have a feeling it was him.
Because he wants to make like an example. Because I like when he comes into the class and the guy on the double bass just goes like, "Don't touch my shit." I'm like,
oh yeah, that guy was
off,
kind of an asshole.
Extremely fucking.
He goes,
rude.
he goes,
Secondly,
"Hey man, don't touch my book."
He's like, "I don't want you touching my folders." I'm like, "He doesn't play your instrument. Shut the fuck up." It's like.
But then the drum guy just gets completely grilled, where he goes, "What are you doing? We don't have time for. We're only core members today." Absolutely devastated.
Yeah, he lets Andrew play because he remembered all the shit, and they end up winning first prize still. I thought it was clearly. I liked how he acknowledged that he brought in his friend to just.
Oh yeah, he's like, why don't you get whatever his name is, and he goes, "Oh no, I just got him in just so I could manipulate you or something." That was great.
I love when he's like, "Oh yeah, it's really good," and he's giving him all this support, and Andrew's just like, "That shit." What? And he just fucking broke.
And then there's the showdown between the 3 drummers. Faster!
Oh yeah, they're all so sweaty.
Oh, and he goes, "Andrew, you won the part. Clean the blood off my drum set."
Oh yeah, I know we had this bit quite a while ago now. We had a lot of discussions in between, but I think my favorite comedic timing. No. My favorite comedic timing, aside from the "I'll demolish you" line, was I think the first time he just throws the chair at Neiman's head.
Oh, how he just casually walks over to the other side of the room, puts his hand on a chair, and just goes, "Yeet!"
Yeah.
and whips it.
And he throws it. Does he throw a cymbal the second time?
No, he throws the chair because the symbol was the story.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And, then
that's right.
and then he picks
Yeah,
up
oh, that's right.
like a cowbell and it's like whacking it, and then he throws them, and then he picks up Andrew's drums and starts throwing his drums around the room as he's just trying to get Andrew to go faster and faster.
I thought it was a great moment when he hits the symbol in the final showdown.
and
I'll
it
call it.
falls over.
And he fixes it.
Yeah, when Fletcher fixes it, that was great.
I thought that was definitely like more of an acceptance moment. I think that showed more than just him nodding, because you kind of expect him to crack it because he broke the symbol.
Mm.
But I think even it just shows that visuals can also speak a lot more than certain dialogue.
I think
parts.
you can kind of you go.
Because Fletcher, J.K. Simmons is just yelling the entire film. He's all dialogue, like in every single scene, regardless of his like motivations or what he's saying. He's all dialogue, but he doesn't speak a word in that final showdown. It's all on Neiman. You know.
I think if you're talking about visual storytelling, you can look at like his dad, as in Neiman's dad, and J.K. Simmons. Like his dad kind of represents. This is just how I took it. His dad kind of represents like sort of failure. And like so when he goes into his dad's arms after like J.K. Simmons didn't give him the sheet music. It's like he's embracing sort of failure and just kind of accepting the status quo. But then when he goes in and just plays like the final the drum bit, then it's kind of like he's finally going to achieve what he wants to achieve. That's just how I kind of saw it.
I think the dad more so represented failure in a sense, but I think he also represented more so settling for mediocrity, and like sometimes it's okay to be mediocre.
Maybe not failure, but just the status quo and just accepting, just being normal.
Yeah, it's like you don't win.
Well, because you see that right at the very beginning where he's like they're at the cinema, and then Andrew's like, "Oh, I want to be remembered," or something, or he says something along those lines, and his dad's like, "But just enjoy life, and it doesn't matter if you get to that point."
It was definitely a good character. It was definitely well written. The father character, in my opinion.
Yeah. For someone who doesn't have much screen time, it was a good role.
He was well dispersed. He wasn't underused or overused, I think.
Something I found interesting, I could be wrong because I didn't watch the film because I've seen it so many times. So feel free to correct me if I am, but I don't think there was ever a large bit in that final showdown where you see the audience at all.
Not in the final drumming bit.
It's all.
The only like audience cutaway shot I saw was with his dad. I think earlier on in the movie. I can't
there's
remember.
a shot right after he finishes trying to stumble his way through upswinging, where he doesn't have the music. You see him looking at the audience, and then he puts the sticks down and walks off. But then that's all you really see.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting angle that you never even though there's no audience cutaways, and you don't even really see the audience. It's all on this because of the lighting. It's all on the stage, especially in that final showdown. I think it's just, I don't know. It's like he's in his own world.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't even think you don't see much of the other performers too in that final showdown once he starts going off as well. It's all between him and J.K. Simmons, like they're in their own bubble.
Because he doesn't give them the paper, and he kind of guides the other orchestra members, like the double bass.
And he uses the Damien Chazelle. How do you pronounce his name? Chazelle.
I think it's just Chazelle.
It's where they use the Damien Chazelle iconic camera thwip thing, where it goes from J.K. Simmons, then thwips over to Andrew, just playing, and then goes back and forth. You know what I mean?
I love that technique. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Have you seen the behind the scenes of them doing it? There's
no,
one,
I haven't.
Because I think it's in La La Land where it spins like a full 360, and the camera operator is just like whacking the stick on it. It looks pretty funny.
I was gonna say I'm surprised you like this film that much, given you hate La La Land.
I only hate La La Land because one of our teachers hates La La Land. And I just like saying I hate La La Land because there's people in our class who...
You just like egging him on,
there's
do you?
people in our class who are like, no, La La Land! And I'm like, yeah, I hate it.
See,
I think we might be stepping into potential information leaks. So let's just
No, I still
like
I
let's
haven't
not-
I haven't
let's
even
not go
seen it.
into
I
this
do
topic.
need to watch it. I need to get past my whole well, I
I
need to get past my whole thing of not liking musicals.
Look, if you want to start on musicals, as someone who doesn't like musicals, I reckon either start with Rocky Horror or Little
I
Shop of
can't
Horrors.
watch Rocky Horror because I watched it so much as a kid. That's probably why I don't
Okay, well,
like musicals. No, my reason is I don't like musicals.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No, I
for a
only
second.
don't like musicals.
I thought that's why you don't like.
The only thing
what do you think he's gonna say? That's why I don't like transsexuals.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought he was
No.
gonna say?
Yes, and I was like, hang on.
No, I don't
What?
like musicals because I always found it annoying how like they're like, oh, let's do a bit of exposition and start singing, and I'm like, how about you just do the exposition, just talk? Why do you have to?
That's
obviously,
fair.
You obviously don't understand
Exactly.
musicals. You because you don't have big brains like with like musical stands.
Just because I
Like
haven't
people
seen
who
Hamilton.
watch Hamilton. Everyone's turning on
Oh,
Hamilton
why?
now. It's funny. They're all just roasting Lin-Manuel Miranda,
Oh,
like on TikTok. I've noticed.
Excellent.
I find it so funny. They're just turning on him and turning into a meme.
Finally, wake up, sheeple. That was the cringiest thing I've ever said.
Do we have any final
I
thoughts?
doubt that.
Any other notes to bring up?
I just want to add onto this conversation. If the thing that irks you about musicals is like how exposition becomes a song, you might not like Little Shop of Horrors. Then I just thought you might dig it because of the dentist character, and also all of
Rick
Audrey
Moranis.
2, and Rick Moranis. All of Audrey 2's songs are fucking bangers.
I have been told that I should watch it. So, do you have it on Blu-ray?
I don't actually. I got it on DVD. I don't know
Are you
Blu-ray.
okay if we all watch the DVD, not the Blu-ray?
No, I'm not okay. In fact, the reason I hate myself so much is because I haven't
Okay.
bought it on Blu-ray yet.
We'll all be
And sell the
watching it,
DVD.
and you'll just be there like,
It's not high quality enough.
what is this?
Actually, that was one of the first movies I remember seeing because I used to go to my auntie's all the time, and she had the VHS tape, and I
That was
Always
me
watched
with
it
over
and over.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Because my nonna had that on VHS. That was a
What
great
movie
movie.
that
I
was?
love that movie so
That was-
much.
I've never
good.
seen it.
Oh. I don't think it's worth doing an episode.
I think we
on,
should.
but
I think we should.
It's worth a watch.
Do that
Oh, I
and the
don't think
sequel.
so. No. Don't do the sequel. The sequel is
I
garbage.
haven't seen it.
You've just gone dead inside just the mention of it.
I hate this. I hated the sequel. I hated the sequel so much. Anyway, final thoughts. Callum, it's your pick. You start off.
I love it. I love this movie. 9, 8, 9 or 8 symbols thrown at my head out of 10.
I even though I've seen it too many times to want to watch again anytime soon, I still think it's a great movie. And as much I know I ragged on it a lot this episode. Maybe it seems like I hate it. I don't know. I didn't mean to because I don't hate it. But no, I think it's great. I love J.K. Simmons' performance. I love performances that steal the show, and J.K. Simmons is certainly that. He's the Ali Ermi of the music focused movies. Yeah, no, I think it's great. I'd give it, I don't know, 8.5, maybe 9 mini me's out of 10.
I didn't mind it. It was definitely an entertaining movie. Some choices I think could have been done. Oh shit! I just broke that. Some shots could have been done better. I was fiddling with a nail clipper, and I just broke it. I think some shots could have been better. I think it was entertaining. I'd give it a I'd give it 8 J.K. Simmons face wrinkles out of 10. If you'd like to write it, no one actually does. You know,
Dude, do the email. Do the
no one
email.
ever writes us in. If you would like to write us in, or make a movie suggestion, please write us in at rentalrewindbiz@gmail.com.
Please make a suggestion before Seb has an aneurysm.
Please make a suggestion before I close the email because we're not doing anything on it. We're on Instagram at Rewind Rental Podcast. All our other socials are in there, including our link tree. We now are on Google Podcasts.
That's true.
So
We're
that's
on
good.
every podcast platform now except for Amazon, but no one
Except for Amazon because
Fuck Bezos.
I've been Seb, joined by Callum and Evan. This has been Rewind Rental, episode 7. We talked about Whiplash for about 20 minutes. Catch you next
Bye.
week. See ya.
See ya. That was a good episode. I like that a lot.